Welcome to New and In Between, hosted by me, Mia Quinn Maddox, where I'll be discussing the hows and whys to my journey towards my faith. I've learned through my highs and lows that this path is not mine to travel alone. Join me mid journey as I embrace my wins, losses, and everything in between. Hi, everyone. Welcome to New and In Between. I'm your host, Mia Quinn Maddox, and today we're going to be talking about independent life versus the soft life. So, this is a term that I've been hearing over and over and over. Soft life, songs about the soft life, podcasts about the soft life, um, people talking about the soft life, wanting a soft life. So I decided that I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. So I looked up some definitions, and I'm going to read the definition of a soft life. So it says soft life refers to a lifestyle of comfort and relaxation with minimal challenges or stress. Some people use the term in reference to a life that involves and is a product of wealth and luxury. Others interpret life unburdened from stress and responsibilities, a life without difficulty. Now, on the other hand, independence is not influenced or controlled by others in matters of opinion, conduct, etc. Not subject to another's authority or jurisdiction. Not influenced by the thought or actions of others. Not depending or contingent upon something else for existence, not relying on another or others for aid or support, rejecting others' aid or support, possessing a competency sufficient to support a person without their having to work. We get it. It's a whole long list of stuff here. But I say this all to say I have said a few times in episodes that I am living my soft life ever. And to me, soft life is just more of a life of peace. Life is life is going to have stress, life is going to have difficulties there that's just part of what life is to me. But I definitely believe that um independence has its pros and cons and soft life has its pros and cons. But at the end of the day, for me, soft life is just living a life of peace. Stresses will come, but my peace will supersede my stress. My peace will supersede my anger. I just want to be able to, no matter what situation I'm going through, I'm going to be in peace. And I feel like I've experienced the soft life during the strike. During the strike, I had 6 months of basically waking up and doing whatever it is that I wanted to do. If I felt like stressing, I stress. It was unproductive. But I would wake up every morning. The Lord is my shepherd. I have all that I need. That is really what got me through and what gave me peace the whole time. And I would get up, and if I felt like going out and working out, I would. And a lot of the times I did. And if I felt bad, I would get up and I would go run, or I would go work out, or I would go hang out with my sister, or go hang out with my friends. But for the most part, every day I had I kept in my mind, I have all that I need, and all that will happen is going to happen, and I'm going to be okay. And I was, and I had peace. And I had peace in my difficulty in my finances. I had peace in my unknowing when we were going back to work. I had peace in being able to lay on my sofa and just be lazy if I felt like it, or do nothing for 2 days, or not shower for a day, or whatever it was that I was going to do. I had peace with it. And that was, to me, was the experience of a soft life. Now, I'm going to read questions. I had some of my friends send me questions, and I'm going to read the questions and answer the questions that my good friends sent me. So, the first question is: do you consider yourself living a soft life or independent, or a little of both? What does the soft life mean to you? So for me, I definitely live an independent life. I learned my independence from the women in my family. I watched my mom work, go to school, take care of us by herself. I watched my grandmother. I watched my aunt. I watched my cousins. I watched my great aunts, and I've been watching women take care of the household. I've been watching women take care of themselves. In my mom's loss, and her gain of independence, she taught us to always have your own, always make sure you have your own, make sure you can take care of yourself, make sure you have your own. And those were things that were instilled in me, which became a gift and a curse. For me, I became so independent that I felt like I didn't need anybody. And in that type of independence, you are sufficient in doing everything yourself, but you're always stressed. You're always worried about what's next. How it's always some. It's all of course there's always a burden, and independence is like you become so independent that you don't trust anyone to be able to do anything for you, so you don't ask for help. You struggle, you'll do everything, you overwhelm yourself, you overwork yourself, even though you can do it. If you were able to be humble enough to ask for help or to accept help or to allow someone else to do thing or delegate, the stress levels would probably go down. And for me, this is what I see. So when I experienced a taste of the soft life during the strike, I said, "Oh, this is great. This is the kind of life that I want to live." And I also like being independent. I like taking care of myself. I like working. I like being able to, to just live and do for myself and not have to depend on no one or ask anyone for anything. But it's just it becomes more stressful than it needs to be. And I'm learning to delegate more, to release control, to ask for help, to accept help, and to not feel a way about asking someone for help or needing someone for something, because at the end of the day, we were made to need each other. People were made to be together. People were made for each other. So I do feel like I live an independent life, a very independent life. I've been taking care of myself for a long time. But independence also is something for me that I felt like was survival. Our parents were the product of divorce and choosing wrong men for fathers and single parenthood. And in their survival mode of having to take care of their kids, we picked up the survival mode of doing everything for yourself. I feel like that's been a gift from curse. It's funny because I was at a gala, and I was on the line to get a glass of wine, and I was speaking to this beautiful black girl. She had blonde hair. I think her name was Joy Mc. I don't want to say her last name because I don't want to mess it up. But so we just ended up talking, and she was just talking about how she's, like, not that life is hard, but that we work so hard. Like, oh my God, we work so hard. We learn how to work so hard for our parents, and that we don't know how to enjoy allowing people to do things for us, or just like, just letting go and letting someone else lead. And it's like, it's kind of how we both said, it's like, oh, our moms taught us to work hard, and now we work too hard, and now we don't want to work at all. So that's kind of, not that I don't want to work at all. I love working, but I don't want to work hard anymore. I want to be able to have more peace, and that's just across the board. So for me, it comes with delegating responsibilities. I'm a supervisor, so in choosing staff that is competent and experienced, and allowing them to do the things that I know that they're capable of doing. That's in my work life. Also asking for help. We have this thing where we just feel like, well, I have this thing where I feel like if I ask for help, now I'm a burden to someone else, and they're not going to do it anyway, so I might as well just do it myself. And I've learned that during the time of the soft life strike life for me, that if you are humble enough to ask, closed mouth don't get fed, and sometimes what you ask for you'll get. And I learned that, and I started asking for help, and I had to move my storage, and my sister and my friend Aisha came through for me. She pulled up with a van, and my sister pulled up with a Lamborghini truck, which wasn't much of a help, but it was a help because it just was beautiful and it made us smile. And we didn't load anything into her car, but it was just hype to see, and it just it was a brightness for the day. And just having them help me with that, and you know the help that I'm asking for when I do this podcast. Like, I'm funding this out of whatever's left over from what I'm paying my bills with from being back to work now. But for the most part, everyone is helping me. Like, everyone is helping me. We are doing this with no funding. Like the little bit of money that I make from work, and everyone else is. We're all sacrificing. We're all, this is all. This is all help. This is all me being able to be humble enough to ask for help and accept help and not feeling bad about someone helping me or feeling like I owe someone something for helping me. So for me, I feel like I live a lot of independent life, but I'm starting to get a taste of the soft life. And for me, the soft life is just a life of peace. Like I want my life to be, just I just want to be live a life of peace no matter what situation I'm going through, whether it be stressful, whether it be happy, whether it be, whatever the it is. I want to have peace with it. So for me, that's soft life. All right, let's see what else they asked me. Let's see what else they asked me. Is it difficult to keep up with all the different trends of soft life versus independent life? It's not hard for me to keep up with trends because I don't follow trends. I create trends, always been a trendsetter, hence why I was a stylist. But it is interesting for me to hear what people think soft life is. So when because I ask people, I talk to some of my friends, and some people think that soft life is having someone take care of you, being wealthy and having luxurious things. I had some friends who thought that that their view of the soft life was not working, not doing, having someone take care of you, at home with your glass of wine and the nanny taking care of the kids. It was so many different things. So I don't really follow trends. I looked at the term, I looked into the term. I'm like, oh, okay, soft life. I could fine tune this to myself. A life without difficulty, that's just not realistic. A life without stress, that's just not realistic. But to me, soft life is a life of peace. And I get my peace through God, so I know it can't be anything. If everything He's gonna do is for my good, then I know that this soft life is coming to be. Because every day, even though I have a lot on my plate, it's digesting softly. So no trends for me. All right, let's see what else they asked. All right, so here's another question. How did you develop the attitude of being an independent female? So my independence came from watching my mom, and then when we moved to Brooklyn, so basically now I'm the middle child because I grew up in a household with my two aunts, my grandmother, my grandfather, my mom, my younger sister, and my cousin Sean, who is 3 years older than me, so that he was like my brother. So now I'm the middle child. The middle child, and I'm speaking for myself, we get forgotten. The oldest child is doing their thing. The youngest is doing their thing, and everyone is usually following the baby. And the oldest in the middle kind of just gets lost in the sauce. So for me, I developed my independence because I was the middle child. My mom was working. My grandmother was dealing with her mental health issues. My aunt was tending to her. My youngest aunt was building her career. My grandfather was working so that he could provide for the household. My mom is working and going to school so that she could better herself, so that she could then provide for us. And in the midst of that, I'm left to kind of figure out life on my own. And I I'm thankful that I am a observant person. I'm thankful that I am a ambitious person because those attributes of my character help me to be independent. I've worked since I was 12, not because I had to, but because I wanted more. My mom said she was giving me $50 for sneakers. I know the sneakers that I wanted were 100, so I figured out how to work. I figured out always how to work or do summer youth or figure out. I always figured it out. And in the midst of me figuring it out, I've taken care of myself. I've always just felt like because my mom was busy and then busy with my younger sister, it's like my mom never wants to see us go through what she went through with my dad. So she figures that she's going to teach us out of her mistakes. And subconsciously, she taught me, it's like my mom was independent and then I took on independence on another level. But I just always been taking care of myself. I worked. I've always worked. I went to school. I just became independent because it was more out of a survival. I knew that if it didn't get done, it wouldn't get done, and I did it. And that's really just how it happened. And that just continued throughout my whole life. just working and then paying bills, and then you get fed this idea of that you're supposed to find a rich man and he's supposed to take care of you, and that just never worked out for me. So I always just been working and taking care of myself, and I've always been relying on myself because I know that I'm not going to let myself down. And in the midst of me being let down by my dad and being let down by this person and that person and always being let down, I felt like it was my defense mechanism to do for myself. If I know that I'm not going to let myself down, so I just took on the idea that if I did everything, then it would be done, and then I won't have to worry about no one letting me down. And that's kind of where my independence came from. And it's a gift and a curse because now that I'm older and I do need help, I didn't know how to ask. I wasn't humble enough to ask, and I had to be brought down to nothing to humble myself to ask. So that's where my independence comes from. All right, let's see what else we got here. Pros and cons of being independent in a relationship. So I haven't been in a successful relationship through my 40s, so I can't really comment on the pros and cons of being independent in a relationship. There's one person that I can say that I'm like, if I was less independent, that relationship probably would have worked, because when we finally got down to the nitty gritty of like why the relationship didn't work out, he said to me, because I didn't need him. I was the breadwinner. I worked. Yes, he did everything for me, but he wasn't able to provide for me financially. I was the financial person in the relationship. And because he wasn't able to, even though he did everything for me, drove me everywhere, took me everywhere, did everything I needed, made sure I got to the airport, made sure I got picked up from the airport, made sure I got to every shoot, made sure I got picked up from every shoot, made sure I was shopping when I needed to shop, when I didn't, he did everything for me, but I was the financial person, and because of that, it allowed me to be so independent. Like I didn't need him, but I did need him, and I just didn't know how to show him that I needed him. So in a relationship moving forward, it's like it's hard for me to trust someone enough to let them do for me. But I'm learning, and I'm hoping that in my next relationship that I'm able to practice that until it becomes a thing of me being able to let go of my independence, and not so much my independence because I'm gonna always take care of myself, but in a way that it doesn't make someone else that I or the person that I'm in a relationship with feel like they're not needed. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on that. All right. So let's see what's next. What type of behaviors do you notice in yourself that make you feel like you can tap more into soft feminine energy? Um, I I have always been a girly girl. I've always been a girly girl. I want to get dressed up. I want to be cute. I didn't climb trees. I don't have no scars on my leg. I think two. One from falling off a bike, and one I think from me and my sister playing and getting stabbed with a fork or some craziness like that. But as far as like, I don't have no scars. I don't have no cuts. I wanted to be cute and dainty. I always was a girly girl, and I love getting my nails done. I love getting manicures and pedicures. I love getting massages. I love being pampered. I love vacations that we do nothing. I love laying on a boat, catching the sun. I'm learning to love to relax. And sometimes I'm learning to love to not to do anything. So yeah, no, I do think I'm tapping into my soft feminine energy, because when you are a young independent girl, you you become kind of hard when you have to do everything on your own. And when you do everything on your own, it's time consuming. And when it's time consuming, it doesn't allow you to do the other things that bring like the soft feminine things, like getting your nails done and getting your hair done, and those are all things that I love and enjoy to do. But for the most part, I feel like finding time to like allowing myself to ask for help and have people help me do things is allowing me to have more time to do things that are more relaxing and enjoyable for myself, like taking walks and going on hikes and just putting in my AirPods and listening to a podcast and going on walking for 10 miles and not even realizing it, just going into the park and enjoying the beauty of the trees and the animals and just the just hearing the wind. And I am starting to tap into that and into that as I'm learning to be more humble and ask for help and accept help and being okay with depending on people. I've always been surrounded with dependable people, but my own insecurities and my own trauma has not allowed me to accept help from people. So as I'm working through that and healing from that, I'm able to now ask for help and not feel bad about it and be helpful. That help is allowing me to have a softer life. So for me, I do think that I'm tapping into my soft feminine girl energy. All right, let's see what else we got here. How important is it to be independent in a relationship? People feel like it's a negative thing, but relationships tend not to work when two people are only invested into each other and don't have separate lives. There needs to be a balance of togetherness and individuality. I do agree with that. I do agree that I've been in a relationship before where I've made the person my life, and then when the relationship ended, it was hard to figure out now who are your friends, because you made all his friends your friends, you made all your plans his plans, and then when you're not together no more, you don't have anything. So for me to be independent in a relationship is more so of not so much independence of like, oh, I could do everything for myself. I don't need him to do anything for me. No, I want you to do everything for me, but I want to also do everything for you. I want to make your life easy and I want you to make my life easy. So if you need me to dress you and pack your bags and make sure you good to go and or and have your coffee in the morning, I'll probably be going before you do, but either way, whatever it is, whatever I can do to make your life easier, I'm willing to do, and whatever that my partner could do to make my life easier, is what I feel like is gonna be the softer part of my relationship. But as far as being independent, I don't want to be independent in a relationship. I want to be in a marriage, and I want God to lead my husband and my husband to lead me. And if that means me letting go of my independence, I just need to make sure that, and I don't need to make sure of anything. I know that God is going to make sure that the person that he presents me with is going to be able to make me feel secure enough to lead me, that I'm able to release that part of of my independence. So stay tuned for that. This is a journey, so we will see if that really happens on this journey. All right, let's see what else we got to say. I do have. I am gonna say this. So in the definition that I read, I'll read it again just so that we remember. It says that some people use the term in reference to a life that involves and is a product of wealth and luxury. Wealth and luxury do bring the softer parts of life, but I don't feel like if it's not yours, then there is a sacrifice. I feel like people think that, oh, get a man that has a lot of money, he'll take care of you, and then you'll have a soft life. That is not a soft life. There's still a sacrifice, a grand sacrifice, when you date a man with money or someone takes care of you. It's funny because my sister is in a relationship where her and I'm not saying that he takes care of her, but where they're taken care of. He makes sure that the family is taken care of. But my sister works just as hard as I do in my independent life of working and bringing my own water upstairs and all that stuff, and dealing with all the stuff that she has to deal with. Is it's still a gift and a curse. And people think that, oh, get a man that's gonna take care of you, but that's still hard work too. That's extra hard work. Like now you got to deal with someone else. It's still hard. I don't think that equates to soft life. And it's funny because I'm doing independent versus soft, and when I was thinking about it, I'm thinking about my sister, I'm thinking about myself, I'm thinking about the things and the stresses and the heartaches, and it's not the same, but she still is not floating on she's not floating in the rose petals of champagne. She still deals with a lot of stuff just as I still deal with a lot of stuff. So for me, The soft life is just a life of peace. I don't want to have a life of someone taking care of me and now I gotta explain why I spent this or ask for this or do this, or those come with things too. So for me, I just want to have a I want my soft life era to be a life of peace, a life where I'm okay with asking for help, where I'm accepting of help, where I could delegate and give up control, and where I could just be okay with taking care of me. Going to get that massage, going to get my nails done, making sure that I get my manis and my petties and my hair is done, and using, beautiful lotions and beautiful perfumes and eating nice food and drinking great champagne and just giving myself time to go to the park and take a walk or listen to a podcast or lay on the beach and just bask in the sun or get in the water or just being able to enjoy life without the expectations of it coming from someone or something. I want to be able to be at peace and enjoy a soft life during a strike like I did, or when my podcast is number one and it's created so much, it's monetized so much that now I could take off 2 months and travel and lay on a beach or rent a house or just any, who knows what it's gonna be, but I'm trying to tap into that era. So it's interesting to me to know, what do you guys think a soft life is? Comment. I love to read what you guys think. Comments of what is a soft life to you? What do you think is a soft life? I don't think there's any right or wrong answer to what you feel like a soft life is because it's your life. So I'm just curious to know, what is a soft life? What do you think a soft life is? So I had to ask myself this as we sit here and talk about the soft life, and I have to say to myself, I'm like, all right, soft life. Is I asked my sister, and my sister thinks that we live the soft life because we don't have no kids, we don't have no major responsibilities, we're not attached to anybody. So it's funny to hear the perspective of my sister, who so many people look at her life like she lives a soft life because she is taken care, she's well taken care of, she drives nice cars, she has amazing things, but I know the insides and I see the hard part of what people think that soft life is. So that's why I don't think that that's soft. My sister has a soft life, but she also, it is hard to have a soft, like, she has just as much trials and tribulations and heartache and things as I do as a independent person. But she did say that she feels like single people have soft lives because you're not attached to no one. You don't have kids, so you're not attached to things for forever. And, you're able to get up and go when you want and do what you want and move how you want. And I never really looked at it in that perspective. So, um, I guess I do live a softer life. I could go to bed hungry if I want to, and I don't got to worry about no children, and I don't have to worry about a husband. And these are all things that are going to change. And I feel like when I do get these things, it's not that my life is going to be hard, but I'm going to know how I'm going to be able to have peace. Like, just peace through all my situations. Like, not controlling, not stressed out, allowing God to lead, allowing my husband to lead, allowing myself to be humble enough to ask for help, and not trying to do everything on my own and within myself, and um, just being able to say, yo, I need help. Can you come over and help me? Or asking for something, or, I just feel like make the decisions that I'm gonna make to, moving forward, are going to help my life to become softer. So I'm gonna ask myself my biggest win and my biggest loss in my independence versus soft life. My biggest win in being independent is knowing that I can take care of myself. That is a big win for myself. I know that I'm a hard worker. I know that I'm ambitious. I know that I'm going to the rent is going to be paid. I know that I'm going to do whatever needs to be done to make sure that I'm taken care of. And that's a big win for me because I know there's a lot of people who don't have that, who aren't able to do for themselves and take care of themselves. And a loss of my independence is, I mean, like a loss for that, I would say, is that I might not have in my independence I might have ruined some relationships, because some people are givers and they want to do for you, and I'm thinking, oh, why he want to help me with that, why he want to help me with my business, why he da da da, and I probably could have cultivated a few more relationships if I wasn't so independent and opposed to having someone help me or support me. And my biggest win for my soft life is that I have peace, and that's grand. Like, when I realized during this strike that everything I needed for the day is what I all I needed to worry about. I didn't worry about yesterday because it's over, and I wasn't worried about tomorrow because it's not here yet. And I was waking up every morning and saying, "The Lord is my shepherd; I have all that I need." And getting up, and my day every day went so perfect. Like, whether I did something, whether I didn't do something, whether I just relaxed, whether I, went out on a jog, whether I went out on a walk, it was just the most peaceful. So that's gonna be that's my win for now, and I follow my journey so that you can see the bigger wins that come with that. And a loss, I don't think there's any loss because the only thing I lost was some of my again some of my pride and some of my ego, and allowing me to be able to humble myself enough to say, hey, I need help. I could release control of this. I could delegate this. I don't have to do everything. I could accept help and be okay with that. I could tell someone that I'm not able to do something. I don't have to be Superwoman all the time. I can just be Mia. So those are my wins and losses until I get some more wins and losses, and to have an independently soft life, if that makes any sense. That's it. I don't want it to be a verse. I want it to be an independently soft life. So let me know what your thoughts are on soft life. What is your definition of soft life? What do you think a soft life is? And I think every answer is individual for the person, but I would love to hear the comments. So click like and subscribe, comment, and let us know. This is New and In Between, and this is my journey on independence and soft life. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Thanks for always giving me your time. It's appreciated. So click like and subscribe. Until next time, peace. New and In Between. Check it out. YouTube. Click like and subscribe. 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 Thanks.